Hey, deserving listeners, 90 Day Fiancé, The Single Life. Let's watch.
And I think it's good to socialize with people.
So are you like, how single are you feeling now?
I feel single-ish.
Okay.
I'm still married on papers.
My current relationship with Mike is married separated. We decided not to divorce, but we decided to date other people.
Well, that's surprising, but common, but surprising that they would decide to not make it final. You know, they've agreed to date other people and they're still married but separated. And sometimes that's a formal arrangement that you make with the state government. I don't know if that's the case, but anyway, they're going to remain married. Does that mean that they're holding a door open to getting back together? I could see that. We can all see that, right? We could absolutely see the two of them getting back together again. And oh boy, unless they go to a lot of therapy, I would say that would be at the very least interesting to watch.
Hopefully, I meet good man. My dream man likes to be ordered by me. In sexual relationship, I like to be in charge. In life, in house, Mike never would let me. I like to be in charge.
All right, interesting. I like to be in charge. I like to be in charge of everything. Mike would never let me be in charge. Interesting. So there's nothing wrong with saying, I like to be in charge of decor. I like to be in charge of our plans. There is something wrong with that. You can't. There's nothing wrong with wanting 50% or maybe 60%, but to say I want total control, that is, I get it because it's a impulse that we have when we feel out of control, and it's an impulse we have when we feel we have the fantasy that if somehow I was able to totally control everything would work out okay, when that's not true because the other person wants to feel like they have power. So being in a marriage is inherently a power struggle around things. It's how you work it out, in that struggle. Anyway, but let's go back because I think she might be revealing something that I don't think I knew. At least I wouldn't have framed it that way. I wouldn't have said she has a control problem or a preference, but let's rewind.
Good man. My dream man likes to be ordered by me. In sexual relationship, I like to be in charge. In life, in house, Mike never would let me. I like to be in charge. Oh my God, it's my need. What turns me on when a huge man totally under my control. Oh God.
Okay. Now, sexually, it's a different story because you can find someone who is into that, where they are absolutely totally cool and or absolutely turned on by someone else that's in control. So that is different. Now, it's not to be submissive in bed isn't to be without power, because at any point in the submissive role, it's a role play. It's a role that you play. At any point, you can say, no, I don't want to do that right now. So it's not actual control. When you're doing that in bed, it's a fantasy that you play out. It's a game that you play, a fun, consensual game that you play. But when it comes to she wants total control of everything about him. That's her fantasy. Has she always had that fantasy, or is that? I wouldn't be surprised if this was an immature, irrational fantasy in response to, it's the classic rebound syndrome where whatever you ran from, the pendulum swings way too far the other direction. You were with someone that was really buttoned up and corporate and you hated that about them. So you end up dating someone who has no organization in their life and they, their feet smell and everything gets thrown off. So is that what she's like? She's like, I want a big, strong man who looks exactly like Mike. And I have total control over him. Is that what's happening? Or is she just kind of being playful with... I'm hoping she's just being playful with her words. Like, of course I don't want to be in total control. But does she?
American. In my country, like when you walk, no one smiles at you.
Really?
No, I mean, we're kind of more reserved. And America is about being more relaxed, laid back, you know, jokeable. It's hard for me, this little conversation, because it's really American, you know?
Oh, the small
little
talk.
small talk. Oh, teach me this. Oh, please, Julia, teach me small talk.
Like the
Yeah, we've heard that from comments below. And I remember hearing this decades ago that was there a podcast, This American Life episode that was about that was one of the early experiences I had where I was like, oh, things that I consider to be sort of inherent human traits and behaviors, it's not. It's just particular to my culture. One being that in the United States, we're told that we smile at people that we don't know, and when someone says, how you doing, you say you're fine, even though you're not fine. And you are very accommodating to other people, like, oh, to complete strangers, whereas with people in her neck of the woods, she's saying in Ukraine that you don't do that. You answer honestly, and you don't smile randomly to strangers because you don't know those people. And you don't have small talk. You don't have that kind of... But it's interesting that Natalie is framing it, because a lot of people will frame it as fake. They will say, I don't like Americans because it's so fake, which, I could see. It is something that I've spoken out about. When someone asks you how you're doing, if it's someone who's close to you, like your mom, if you're close to your mom, and she asks you how you're doing, she genuinely wants to know how you're doing. You don't have to say you're fine when you're not fine. You deserve to say, I'm not fine. But we have this compulsion to always be nice and polite and say, I'm fine. And it's not okay. It goes too far, right? But it's interesting that Natalie is framing it as laid back. People in the United States are laid back, and so they're very pleasant to other people. It's interesting. So is she saying that people in her neck of the woods are the opposite of laid back? If you're from Kiev and then let me know.
those conversations are annoying. Everyone thinks they're annoying. So when guys like buy you drinks here, they like
Nobody
talk
buys
to you.
me drinks
No, they will. Trust me. So when
You
guys
bought
come
me
up to
drinks.
you,
Thank
yeah,
you,
I buy you
Mom.
drinks.
You're my best friend. It's gonna be hard to meet the man because
I don't know if you caught that. So I can't remember this woman's name, but she was saying that they were roommates very briefly, and they hit it off, and they've been friends. And so Natalie just said, "You're my best friend." Is that reciprocated? Because it could be. Now maybe it is. Maybe they're totally BFFs.
small talk is really hard for me, but I try to learn it.
And here's a guy right now that you can give him his ball back, and there you go. You can meet the guy.
Oh, hi!
All right, thank you.
So it's interesting. What do we know about Natalie's history? We know she was married before for quite a long span. We don't really know anything about that relationship. I think she's been pretty tight-lipped about that. There's a story there. I think we heard some details, but anyway, did she date that person did she start dating that person when she was very young, and then instantly it was Mike soon after that? Because the way she comes across is someone that is, not comfortable, giddy and happy. That's good. We want to see joy and enjoying the dating, flirting process. It's good. It's 100% good. But it's just a detail that we hadn't seen before. We haven't seen her date before, right? We haven't seen how she reacts to that. And it just makes me wonder how much experience she has in flirting.
It was funny. I feel like it's time to think of myself. I put a lot of effort into our relationship with Mike, and I tried so hard, but I felt like I'm pushing the wall, and it hurt me a lot.
Yeah, pushing a wall, absolutely. And you put up walls too. They weren't as severe as his, but yes, his wall seemingly was quite severe.
Driver who just stepping into unknown. It's scary. I want to meet someone special who will think of me as his future wife, who will think of me of giving a child to me, who will respect me. It means showing Michael that, look what you lost.
Okay, that's normal when we're breaking up to want to show to our ex, look what you missed out on. It's normal. Schadenfreude. I think I have a dog hair in my nose. You might even look at their Instagram and say, and see that their life doesn't seem to be going that well, and think like, it's normal. It's not a good impulse. We want to try to rein that in as much as we can. But there's some normal impulse to that. But she says she wants someone who will see her as his future wife, someone who will have a child with her. Okay, so she's still wanting that life, and let's see what happens.
It means a lot how men will treat me.
I have to say hello. You don't know my name, and I don't know your name, but hello. I don't know your name either.
I'm Tara.
You ladies are beautiful.
Thank you.
I'm looking for my next ex-wife.
Okay. So, first off, they're going to this bar in Florida to meet men for Natalie's sake, apparently, maybe all of them. And my first impression is that is not the sort of bar you should go to. I mean, it's like the clientele, it doesn't seem like they're in your kind of category. There's not enough people there. You got to go to, like a club or something, not this place. Anyway, and this guy rolls up and says, you're beautiful. What's your name? He's obviously hitting on him, and says, I'm looking for my next ex-wife. Okay, so he fancies himself a comedian. There's a lid for every pot. Maybe some women are like, oh, that's funny. I like that. I'm looking for my next ex-husband, So, but there's other ways of say, hey, how are you? What's your favorite color? There's less annoying ways to hit on people. But anyway, let's see how this goes. Maybe he'll turn it around.
Oh, really?
I only have two.
I would love to know more about your ex-wives.
Well, my
All
first
five of
wife,
them.
I was married for 29 years.
Wow.
She screwed all my friends. So where do you think I
Yeah.
served her divorce papers?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so again, lid for every pot. Maybe there's a woman out there that's just like, oh my God, yes, you're the one. But he says, so she asks, so tell me about your ex-wife. I mean, you brought it up. Tell me about your ex-wife. My first one I was married to for 29 years, and she screwed all my friends. So what are you supposed to do with that? As a listener, you're like, I'm sorry that happened to you, but I could kind of see why that happened. Anyway. And then he says, guess where I served her the divorce papers? Okay, well, where is this train wreck heading? Guess where I served her the divorce papers? I don't know, at one of the dude's houses.
Where?
On her back at my best friend's house.
Uh-oh.
On her back at my bed. Oh, wow. I mean, if that happened, ouch. Yeesh. But the divorce papers, I mean, you're usually in that. Well, anyway. But it's quite a way to hit on people. Again, lid for every pot. I don't know. But, okay, what can I say? Well, there is a thing called sexism and misogyny and patriarchy, and it can sometimes play out in the way that men decide to hit on women, and even the phrase "hit on women," right? It's just so violent to approach women.
One thing I do know, that of all the penises on the planet, I have the biggest one I've ever had in my hand.
Okay, so that is crossing a line into sexual assault, honestly. I mean, I don't think it's a legal thing at that point, but to start right off the bat talking about your penis is not likely to get any kind of positive response to that, which I'm guessing is what he's going for, or that is what he's going for. He walked up to, because he's exhibited several things up until this point very quickly in rapid succession that, we don't know where it's coming from, but at the very least it's a dominant sexual play, and to people that have not consented and have given no indication. It'd be one thing if they were like, ew, yeah, and they were, kind of coming back with that, and he like went along with it. They've just been on their heels as he continues to invade their space with this kind of talk, and it is not okay. And it is extremely normalized in misogynistic patriarchal circles. Not okay. You can, as a woman in a situation, feel not only uncomfortable, but like, is this guy going to assault me? I mean, the way he's talking, there's something about it that is concerning. I'm not saying that's what he's done or will do, but not okay. Just total lack of understanding of the context, total lack of understanding of your place in the world. Now, maybe he's hammered. Because it makes me wonder if the producers just kind of go around to some of the drunk dudes and be like, hey, you want to be on the show? And then they're like, oh, okay. And they sign this thing and then they just pop on over to the table. Is that what happened?
Wow.
Because
You hear that, ladies? She's frightened.
Yeah, I think I should leave.
Okay, well, it was nice to meet you.
And then he's like, never mind. Instead of, you know what, I'm sorry, ladies. I've been in a pretty bad place right now. I have low self-esteem. I've got bad gender politics, and, I kind of blew it right now and humiliated myself on international television, and I have some hard thinking to do. I'm going to go home and sober up and go to therapy. Anyway,
About American men, because they're pretty direct, and it's kind of. Is it Florida like?
You're like a man magnet here. Because you look hot.
Oh God.
I mean, it seems like Natalie took it well enough. She wasn't into the dude, but it didn't seem like she felt victimized by it. But absolutely, especially, I'm guessing some of y'all, if you had a guy come up to your table and say something like that to you, it would trigger, things in you, which would be absolutely understandable.
Because I'm 36 and I don't have child, I'm nearly divorced again, and I just sometimes feel maybe this is the end for me.
It's different in the United States for sure.
It's normal for people to get married later in life. They're still young.
Yeah,
Cheers
new
to
friends.
friendship.
To
And more
beginning.
adventures to come.
Okay.
Well, I will say her friends seem really nice and supportive, level-headed. She's like, I feel like a loser because I'm 36 and I'm getting divorced again and I don't have a kid yet. And the friends are like, no, it's fine. You're young. You got a whole life. Because that's what I would say. It's like, 36, you got a lot of life ahead of you. Don't worry about it.
Oh, that's sweet.
It's sweet. I'm disappointed with men prospects because it's not what I want. And I thought guys would talk about something captivating.
Not the penis.
Not the penis. Finding a guy turned out more harder than I expected.
All right, well, that does it for that episode. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself and take care of others because we all deserve it. We really, really do.